Alright, so let's remove this intercooler piping. The best way to go about this is to remove the boot on the side that's on the intercooler or on your spotter or Y pipe. It's an 11mm deep socket. I've already done the bottom side before I started the camera. You'll have also wanted to bolt the map sensor like I've just left hanging. Alright. And then just want to carefully wrangle that thing out of there. I know if you've not done it before, it kind of looks a little impossible, but it's really not bad. Take a flathead screwdriver, an 8mm socket, and remove the hose clamps all the way to the turbo. I'm going to go ahead and remove the intercooler piping, and then there's a bracket right here with two 8mm bolts on it to get the pipe off the turbo. I'm going to go ahead and pull all that off, and I'll make video after that. Alright, so it looks like it's a 7/16 nut that's on this clamp here, and it connects the turbo exhaust housing to the down pipe. Alright, got a better idea, hopefully. I'm going to stick this bolt here into the... It's not like the clamps that are holding the intake stuff on. This end, the back end of this has got a T on it, this bolt, and it'll actually come all the way through the back of the exhaust clamps, and it spins. So I'm going to stick this bolt down in there to try to restrict that from dropping back down. So let's see what I get for this wise idea. Hey, you know what I did instead? I just popped it on out of that bracket, so I'm done with trying to get it loose all together. So now this is, that's completely split, so now let's try. Okay, it wasn't just 5 more minutes. Stuck the screwdriver back in there and whacked and got her to open up. Now it might go downhill. Yeah, that ain't been open in a while, has it? You might as well pull the whole ring off, because if you leave it hanging on the exhaust, you're going to find it in the floor. Well, I mean, down at the bottom of the exhaust. Okay, so here you see what I was talking about. This thing goes into its bracket like that. When you're trying to turn, it is too, unless it's pulled taut. So you can either get enough on it to slide it out, or you're going to have to stick something in there to keep it from sliding back to where it can move like that. And that'll just jank up the works. I'm not sure how I got it to do that so easily, but anyway, I tried a zip tie to also hold the bolt up. I didn't get very far with that. How frustrating. Anyway, thank God that got it out another way. So right now would be a great time to put a new downpipe on, but funds definitely are not going to allow for that right now. Now, here comes the fun one. Got that one off. The one in the back is even more challenging to get to. But thankfully, I do have the bolt pretty much all the way out on that one. So hopefully I can get that out without too much effort and killing myself. Next, the up pipes from the exhaust headers to the back of the turbo. And this is on one of the older body style Ford pickups. Well, that sucks because you got exhaust bolts, not this. And not this clamp here. You can see that nut there. So that's also a 7/16. And it's really not that big a deal to get to. Not nearly the pain his neighbor is at all. You got two 13mm bolts that actually secure the turbo down to the pedestal. And hopefully I don't bust my hand here. You're definitely on here redneck strong. Phew. Sorry, I know that my camera angle is terrible. There's really not a whole lot to see. I mean, you should be able to get this done without too much being shown. Man, this is exciting. This one here, I've already broke it loose, so I was trying to determine if I needed a cheater bar or if I could just torture my shoulder and do it. This is probably going to wind up with failure because I can't really hold myself and try to do this too. Oh, you know what? It didn't take too much. There. Pesky rascals off. So it just took that little bit of tapping, but now do keep in mind, like I said, I did use some PV Blaster. I'm not very famous for doing such things, but it was exhaust related, but items, you really can't go wrong using 5 or 6 cans on it, really. But I just sprayed it once about 93 hours ago. So let's check our camera angle here, and we'll pull this turbo out. Now, if you've got the fuel bowl in here, I'd imagine that's going to make that rough. The best rod to leave makes jobs like this roll a lot easier. Now it's just one. Can't wait to get mine finished. It's probably better to have a friend to help. My friend I got here right now is God, so it's a good thing he's sufficient in all matters, guys. I get my lights fixed and get this thing pulled out. One other thing you got over here to do is there's a retainer clip to remove off of the rod that connects the EBPV valve, and you want to unhook the little bracket that's on there. I'll show you how it goes once the turbo's actually off, and then just push that actuator rod off of the valve that opens and closes the valve there. Hopefully I got enough stuff out of my way. What fun. Stupid clamp. Yeah, if you have a fuel bowl in there. Not sure how you're doing that. So, there's that blamed old pedestal. That's the source of the real problem. I know sometimes these bolts here are kind of known for snapping off on a man, and that would suck.
Love you, sweetheart.
Love you, honey.
I got done with the goodie bags. I made you one too.
Oh yeah, give me just a second. I'll come over here.
Okay.
Look laying there on the floor.
What am I looking for? That thingy. That's your turbo thingy?
That's it. That's not the problem, though. I'm taking the problem off right now.
Oh.
The thing it sits on.
Well, I'll see you in a few minutes. I don't want my thingies to get cold.
Okay, I'll see you in a minute, Cupcake.
I love you.
I love you. I was just gonna wait, but I don't want to sit tonight and think about all these bolts gonna come out or what. So I'll just go ahead and answer it. And they're definitely in there tight, but that look like I'm going to get stuck. I only got one way to go there, so I'll keep my big blank mouth shut tight. Get to the end here, if I can find them. And I'm going to have to switch sockets to get the last one out. And we'll bring you guys along for the full overhaul of this pedestal. Can't wait to get this done. Today's Tuesday. I'm supposed to have the part on Friday, so I have this thing all nice and cleaned up. Ready to go. Get me another 10 millimeter. So afraid of rounding that one off. Or breaking it, either one. Phew. Oh, good. That'll make going to sleep tonight just a little easier. You just never know. Now I can pull the turbo pedestal out. And while this mess is out, I'm gonna redo my fuel lines. Alright, so there's the turbo and the pedestal. And there's where the actuator was leaking. So we're going to get that all apart. Clean this thing up. The O-rings don't actually look bad on this guy here, so we'll just reuse them, right? No, I'm joking. Got brand new ones. The mail just showed up. Got an H-pop gauge that came in the mail. So you really can't see anything in there. I'm gonna remove the old O-rings. There's those. And then the other two are actually in the turbo, so we'll move on to, I need to find some snap ring pliers. Get that snap ring off there. Okay, so let's proceed with taking this turbo pedestal apart. First, I need to take this bolt here off that retains that servo or actuator that controls the thing. And it's a 13mm. Probably should have done this with the turbo out of the vehicle, or on the vehicle. Oh well. And also using a deep well socket's not going to help either. But I can quickly get to it, so. And should be able to just pull this out. It may take quite a bit of persuasion to get her out. Check the O-rings, obviously. And as you can see there, we got a snap ring that holds all that junk together. It would be better to have this thing locked in a vise. And probably the right size O-ring pliers, but this is all I got today. Hopefully I don't break them on this. There we go. Might take a couple of tries, but I'll get it. Try one more time here. See if we can. Can't get it to move on out of there. There we go. And you can grab the actuator shaft and push the back out, and the rest of it as well. Well, sorry, take that back. You're gonna have to unscrew the this rod here. You probably need some pliers or something to be able to get this unscrewed out of there, but if you've gotten this far, this ain't nothing. If this is a problem, putting the clamps back on is way worse. I'd rather have to deal with taking the transmission out, except for take transmission out, the problem means something expensive happened. And then you get all that to go with it. That seal right there is what goes bad on these. Causes it to piss oil through the tube there, and that's what you got once you get that disassembled. So we've gotten everything off of this guy. I'm not gonna video it, but I want to go get me a brush now, clean the crap off of this, and then I want to go soak it in some degreaser. Then on Friday when the parts get here, it's in 2 days. Today's Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. You know, that day that everybody likes to commemorate Pilgrim slaying the Indians or whatever. Anyway, we'll get this cleaned up and complete this video here shortly. Alright, so finally got my EBPV valve rebuild kit from Diesel O-Rings. There's their product number. Says that it consists of a nut, some O-rings, rod end, retainer ring, cover, piston assembly, clip retainer, and instructions. And this is Garrett brand. So, anyway, there's a pack of goodies, seals, and all that. There's the actuator spring, all brand new. A good seal on it. So let's get that installed. Alright, so Allie, how old are you?
7.
And what are we doing here today?
We are going to rebuild the turbo pedestal.
Awesome. Alright, so first step here, obviously after you've gotten this thing cleaned up, we did go through the passages with some pipe cleaners. There's conflicting data whether you should try to hone this or polish it yourself. Ultimately, I resolved a machine shop ought to do it, not me, so I just cleaned it up the best I could with a nylon brush. So first off, you need to make sure here on your piston, the seal on that needs to be lubricated with fresh engine oil. And you're also going to want to put some of the oil on your finger and run that along the inside of the bore and get that all lubricated before you begin assembly. Alright, I'm going to run some more oil on it again just for good measure. And go ahead and start sliding that sucker in there. And let's push this spring. Oh yeah, don't leave your glove in there, that won't work.
No.
Oops. It's definitely fitting in there really good. So next, you're going to want to take your retaining nut and put that on the end of the shaft.
This thing?
No, the nut, not the arm. The nut. Yeah. I might have to help you with that. The gloves are probably going to make it impossible for you, Cupcake.
Yeah. Like.
Yeah, you got started. Go ahead and tighten it on down. Go all the way with it.
Does it hurt to try?
While you're doing that, I'll go ahead and take care of putting the oil ring on the back cover
Right.
so that you can install that. So you're going to want to lubricate your oil ring with oil as well. That goes on the back cover. Just dip it generously in there. Should go on there without any kind of problem at all. Even for us. And then you're going to want to push your piston in just enough so that you can actually get the cover on there. And yeah, I'm going to put some more oil on it just for the fun of it.
And just in case.
Alright, Allie, stick that on the back like that. Figure out. Yeah, it's going on. Probably tapping it with a rubber hammer would be an alright option. But it looks as though I got it anyway. I do want to wipe my mess off of it there so that tell that it's not leaking. Now you're gonna need to go stand back because I'm gonna do the snap ring thing. You can take your gloves off. So next, just screw the arm onto the shaft there. just enough for right now. I've yet to get the snap ring on there because the pliers I have are just not sufficient, so I'll have to run down to the store and pick up a pair. So I got me some little better pliers here. Hopefully. It went in. Yay. Hey. So next you want to set your turbocharger down on pedestal. Hey. And you want to secure it to there too. Not mega tight, but it needs to be on there. Huh. That's funny, I got that. I set that arm perfect in there. Okay, so we need to set the preload on this actuator rod. What you're going to want to do is, let me go ahead and unhook it here and show you. Alright, you're going to want this rod, you know, it goes in and out, but you want it all the way to the back of the cylinder. And you're going to then you want to adjust your arm a little and get ready for more readjustments. Alright, you're supposed to put a .01 feeler gauge. I don't know if you can even see this or not. I'm having a hard time with the camera. Okay, there's a stop right here on the back side of this, and you're supposed to put that between that, but you can hear that it's moving, so the feeler gauge wouldn't work, and plus they take up a little bit more slack out of that. So let's go ahead and put another full turn on this thing. There we go. Now there's really not so much slop. Now you're supposed to take a 10-pound, well, you're supposed to take a sliding scale. I got a crappy one from Walmart that probably doesn't work. But anyway, that aside, the point of this one right here is that you want 10 pounds of force pulling against this assembly here before your valve actually starts to close, so that you know that it's within proper operation. So we're going to pull this on out here until we visually see it start to move. I got it at about 8 pounds, it looks like. But I don't believe that this is even right to begin with, so we're also going to test that as well to see what it's at. I am going to just take this off and put 1/2 turn into it. If you tighten it up, that equates to more pressure being needed. you loosen it up, it's the opposite. Now it did hit the 10-pound mark when it did at that time. So I'm going to find a 10-pound weight and verify this thing, because I doubt that this is accurate, even close, for $5. But anyway, so I believe that I do have that set. And what you want to do is take the nut that's behind the arm and tighten it up to the arm so that the position is now held. So now that that's done, then you'll just remove the turbo again from the pedestal, and then it'll be time to reinstall the pedestal on the truck with the new O-rings. Alright, so finally, let's get back to putting this turbo pedestal on here. You see you got 2 orifices there. They're stained yellow from the factory O-rings. You want to install a new set of pedestal O-rings in there, coated null. So here comes the real fun, my friend. I'm gonna make sure and get this on here without dispositioning those things. Those O-rings, I mean. Or pinching them or anything to knock them out of place. And then we'll be doing this again. And trying to take one last look. Yeah, make sure they're where they're supposed to be. Well, where's the 4th bolt? I know I just set 4 up here just a minute ago. It's always the crazy stuff that goes on with me. We've got 18 foot-pounds of torque on these 10mm bolts that hold the pedestal down, are about 216 inch-pounds. Do not want to snap one of these off. That will not be a bit of fun. And the pesky treble one in the back, I have to use a swivel socket now because of my new fuel setup. This will be the one to break. I'm gonna be a chicken. I'll consider that installed. And you may notice the solenoid there to control the oil for the EBPV actuator is still missing. I've cleaned that sucker up. I'm gonna put the O-rings on it right now and get that shoved in there. I'll go ahead and shove that on up in there. Alright, then we got this then we got this 13 millimeter nut and bracket that retain your pedestal oil control solenoid or EBPV solenoid, whatever you want to call that thing. Alright, then install your old O-rings on your pedestal there. If you use the factory ones, they're actually yellow. I do have a brand new set of factory ones, but this came with the pedestal rebuild kit, so I just preferred to use these. Alright, here's the fun part that you really must not mess up. Well, really any of it don't mess up on. But anyhow, make sure that the exhaust valve on your turbo is open when you go to set it down in here. Take your time. I'm sorry that I'm not giving you guys the best a lot. It's kind of hard. I mean, it's hard enough for a mechanic just to try and get the lot where he needs it anyway. But, you know, the goal here is to not pinch those O-rings that we just put on there. They need to stay right in perfect position, else I'm gonna have to do this crap over again. Okay, before sticking this turbo on here, there is one thing that I do want to point out to you to make sure that you realize there is a locating dowel sticking up on the turbo up pipe collector. And on your turbo, there's the receiving end. That has to line up. So now when we go to set the turbo on there, you see there's 2 points, well really 3, including the actuator rod as well. There's 3 points to look out for on here. You know, you're trying to keep your O-rings in position, set that down on the pedestal correctly, get it on the actuator correctly, and get it on the locator dial correctly. So before you begin, make sure any of your cute wires are well out of your way. I'm dreading really putting the clamps on this part. Anyway, I haven't got anything supporting this so far. Now recheck the O-rings. Okay. They look perfect. And you know what I forgot to do? I really just want to grab a switch and beat myself for this, because now I get to pull that off one more time and do this again. That's because I forgot. This must be on there before you begin. Must. It needs to be on the collector side. I can't believe I got ahead of myself a little there. Completely forgot. Okay, so there you see I got the clamp attached to the collector there now. You know, don't put your turbo on backwards or anything. I'll go ahead and I just want to get them started to keep it from scooching too much on the pedestal. I don't actually want to tighten them down the least little bit, because it's going to have to be finessed into everything. Here, I got you as a little better angle if I don't block it, but you know, I can't help that. I have to get this done right. So I take the bolt back out because I haven't got it lined up with the dowel, so that kind of sucks. I'm hoping here in just a second to correct that. I do have the actuator arm clipped. And I'm not. Yeah. Now it's on that, and then you know, I'm terrified that my O-rings are pinched under there, so I'm going to do what I can to just double check that. It's probably a mistake, but oh, it sure look good. Down there. Look hard. Yeah. They're still in place after all that. So I should have just ignored it. I can't help it sometimes, guys. I gotta double check myself. And I believe we're good. on the flange on the back there. Yeah. Alright. So then you'll go ahead and put your two 13mm bolts that clamp your turbo down to the pedestal back in, one front, one in back. You may have to make sure and hold your mouth right when trying to get these bolts in. And you know, it don't matter if you cross thread them or nothing, right? Yeah, you definitely don't want to do any of that. So take your time trying to make sure that they're not cross threaded. You know, after all, you are sinking them into aluminum. Yeah, I can tell they're turning, so they're not cross-threaded. And then on these, it's I think it's like 35 foot-pounds. According to Garrett. And that would make it about 420 inch-pounds roughly. I forgot on the pedestal bolts, and I may have initially over tightened one, I'm not sure, but I'm not going to go back to find out. If it leaks, I'll just loosen them and do it again, I guess. But I'm not gonna completely tighten this sucker down until I got the clamp on there, because I'm sure it probably wants to move just a little. But I do want to get the bolts started in there for sure. I think we're gonna have to get a little extension there. Okay, I truly wish that I'd have filmed this. I've already got the back clamp on there. Man, I got that on so quick. Way faster than getting it off. I do want to say my best friend in the job was this to pull the other side along. So you might want to try one of those O-ring picks. The one that's curved down, not sideways. That did help a whole lot. So the next one I'm going to tackle is the clamp that goes there on the down pipe. That should be a lot easier, but you know, I bet it goes the opposite with me. Okay, before I clamp this down, I did want to show you another little trick. If when you're removing these, you're gonna have a problem with you know, this one to come out when you're removing them. So in order to stop that, a good course of action would be stick a bolt up in there so it can't do that garbage. See, look at that. And then you could loosen it, even though the clamp is still stuck on there. On the, you know, when you're taking it off, I mean, even though you loosen it, the clamp doesn't come off until you get it off. Well, the bolt wants to come on back that way as you're using a wrench on it, so, you know, put the bolt in there to retain it so it can't do that. That'll save you a lot of time. Now, I'm gonna have to move the light a little, obviously. I can work stuck in there with it like that. I hope this doesn't make it more difficult for everybody else. But do keep in mind, I gotta get my truck fixed. Yeah, it looks like you can still sort of see what I'm doing there. Just bring it down a touch. There. Alright. So I took a 3-pound hammer and stuck the handle of it under there to hold the down pipe up after I disconnected it, and it held it almost close to perfect. Just need to get it back just a little so I can get the ring in there. That's easier than I thought it was going to be. Now mine moves a lot easier because I have the exhaust cut off just right at the back of the cap, so there's not much there really, and there's not much holding it up. This definitely can turn into a royal pain really fast. Hopefully that's not what's going to happen here today. I think it'd be easier to fit the ring on the top if it don't fall down it. Hopefully you can see here what I got going on. I wedged a board in there to help bring this thing up to where it needs to be. Of course, an air ratchet or cordless power tool would be much more preferred here. But here I'm using a cheap crappy ratchet that can't keep up with itself. Pretty much tighten it down until you start feeling the thread strip, I guess. You know, you don't want that to come off. Alright. finally, that's all done and out of the way. That's the first time I left the factory exhaust in one of these trucks too. Usually when I'm doing something like this, put a downpipe in while I'm at it, but well, I don't have the money for that crap. So now it's time to twerk down the turbo hold down bolts. So anyway, 35 or so inch-pounds, 35 or so foot-pounds on these hold down bolts. This Twerk wrench here we've got, it's just an inch-pound, so I tried to get it close to 420. For any of you that don't know, 1 foot-pound is equivalent to 12 inch-pounds, so if you have to convert it to inch-pounds, you just multiply that by 12. And tighten that sucker a little more. I think that's going faster than the ratchet, I'm not sure. No. Quit moving, I don't guess so then. Well, if it quit moving, it's probably tight enough. Whatever you do, just don't over tighten these. You don't want to break anything off or strip anything. Took these off, they made me grunt to get them off. It's not the way it's really supposed to go. Probably another good course action would be put some Loctite on these bolts when you got to put them in. And say what happened is a previous owner thought that the O-rings were leaking, so just like, I'll snug the easiest bolts I can get to down and see if that resolves my issue. And then he just decided to probably ignore it because it's an annoying thing to do. And I mean, well, when I first got it, it wasn't leaking much oil. But once it got cold, it sure started. I don't know. I don't know if this torque wrench is worth a fire if it's everything. Click. There. Already check the front one just for the fun of it. That's what it says. Alright. Now, I got my spider pipe or Y pipe or collector pipe, whatever you want to call that. I need to get that cleaned up so I can just force it down in there. Then give this thing a test run. Test start anyway, I ain't gonna go anywhere with it like that, but I'm gonna start it up and see what happens. You're gonna wanna hook up the solenoid for your pedestal actuator, which just about made my wires too short to do mine. But I also broke the connector off, so I'll have to fix something on there to hold that in there, probably a zip tie. Handyman secret weapon. But make sure that's done before you continue on next. Alright, hopefully you got a good view of this. My viewfinder on my camera is taking a crap out on me. But anyway, we're gonna put this crossover intake pipe, spider pipe, whatever this thing you want to call, on here. Now, the way I found to do these to make it go the easiest is to start with, put the clamp over here on the outlet of this, and also need to get some fresh oil and coat that lightly. It would have been preferable that that seal there had been replaced, but guess what? I didn't get one. Do that another day when I put a new turbo wheel on this thing. I think I got it. Anyway. So here we go with installing the pipe. You want to put your boot down here on the passenger side, intake plenum with the clamps on it. And here on the actual pipe itself, on the driver's side, put your boot there with your clamps up top. You'll notice I got mine pretty clean. So that does probably help a little, maybe, I don't know. But what I do is make sure everything's in my way. But I fit it to the driver's side, the intake plenum first. And then once I've gotten it started going down into there, I probably should use my bare hand and not risk letting the part of this glove rip and go down into there. But I'll work on fitting it into the passenger side. And not quite ain't working the way it's supposed to. You just gotta make sure that it's actually going in and not cutting your boot or pressing it too hard into the intake plenum and damaging it. There we go. That wasn't too bad. Not at all. First thing to do is to deal with the clamp between the turbo and that. I got a 5/16 socket here on the nut of this worm clamp. It's kind of beyond me why they didn't put the regular bolt style clamps on instead, but whatever. I guess I could have ran out and bought me one if I wanted to, but not fooling with that crap today. Make sure and put it at the top where you can get to it easy. And you have to take this mess off again. And after I tighten up these boots at the bottom here, I want to start this thing up. See how it breathes. And I think it's like 600 foot-pounds of torque on these instead of 850. You know, just till you get close to stripping it out and then back off right as soon as it does. It would be extremely beneficial though to double check your boots and ensure that they are on properly and not gouged or something crazy. Make sure that they're not just shoved too far into the plenum to where it's pushing them out of shape or something too. Okay, I'm not going to record me tightening up these boring clamps down here at the bottom. I think you can understand how to do that. Be with you in a moment. Okay, go ahead and reconnect your intercooler line. Again, make sure it's not catching and acting retarded with you. It's usually going to do that where you can't see it. You'll know you got it when it goes on there easily. Sure might don't want to go all the way up. I only had it off for a couple of weeks and been in a crazy position. You can't get it any farther. I'm not worried about it this second. I can come back and fine tune this part later real easy. I really just want to get all this on here and start this sucker up. Oh, one other thing. So when you're tightening the worm clamps there at the bottom, where at the intake plenum for the engine, careful how tight you make those. Those are just aluminum. If you squeeze them out of shape, you'll make it to where you never can get them to seal right again. I'd also recommend to get you some of those inserts for them. I wish I had some, but anyhow, let's proceed on down the line with what all needs to be done here. I got a couple of these, and I can't remember which one goes to which. I think that goes to fuel ball, though. No, they can't plug in the wrong place. That's alright. There we go. Plug the mass airflow sensor back in, because it definitely won't like it if we fire it up without that in it. Then we got some hoses to connectificate. Definitely the map sensor, because it's not going to like that. We'll go ahead and set it over. Well, we'll go ahead and just hook it up, because there's no point in trying to get it mounted where it's supposed to go yet, because the intercooler line has to go over there first. There. But we're going to go ahead and plug it up. There's that. Not going to worry about hooking up the heater there. That's not actually needed. We're going to start it without that. You get all your hoses for your wastegate solenoid, and they go on like this. The green one that's going down here at the bottom, that goes into your intake hose. The red one goes all the way back to the wastegate solenoid, and it also connects down here at the bottom of the intake manifold. And I have to go find the solenoid that controls that. I don't want to go any further until I hear this thing fire up, so let's just see what happens when I do all that. But always whenever you've worked on your vehicle, double check to make sure you ain't got crazy tools laying anywhere. Like I just found a pry bar laying in the front there that I totally forgot was anywhere under here. Make sure everything's safe before you plug your electrical back up. Okay, so here's what's going on. I'm going to do a test fire up real quick. Nothing real serious, got the batteries all hooked up. So the things that have been done since the last time this thing ran was turbo pedestal rebuild for the piston actuator for the EBPV valve there on the exhaust. Also replaced the ICP sensor and installed the H-pot gauge to go along with it to monitor it from here on out. So first, when I go to crank on this thing, to make it pretty clear here, it's going to be a no start. There's no power to the engine at all. The harness is disconnected. So let me hook my alternator back up and we'll get on this. Okay, I got everything connected except for the main engine wiring harness. So it's not going to be a real trial. The reason for this is to get oil up into the turbo and the rest of the engine, because it's been sitting for about, I don't know, a week or so. So again, make sure nothing's gonna get caught in your serpentine belt and go crazy wild on you, or anywhere else, and it's gonna catch fire, do any cool tricks. Oh, I need to find something to rig this for 1 second because I do want my gauges on. Alright, I had to hardwire my gauges on there because I don't have a key on trigger wire yet for that. Anyway, just want to get some oil pressure up in it before I actually really try to start it, but let's see what happens. Oh yeah, I need to plug my edge in. I'm not worried about what codes it's going to pop right now because it's not all the way assembled. It's going to throw a couple, I'm sure. I don't have the glow plugs hooked up either, but it would probably start fairly quick without them. See if the H-pot gauge shows anything yet. Now I want to go hook the engine wire harness. Well, I'm going to give it one. Alright, the harness connector's in. So let's see what we get. Now, hopefully it really does start. Wow. Not much on the H-pop when starting, huh? Just checking the smoke. I'm gonna hit the glow plugs once. It's been sitting for a while, maybe. give it a little haffiness to go. That's always the best way to do it, just jam some wires together, right? Now, phew, raw fuel. There we go.
Now let's see if we can catch that valve operating over there. I'll go ahead and get this put back together after watching it for a minute or two. Take it for a test drive.
Okay, you may not see very much, but I ain't got the light up here in the hood anymore. I got it all dressed back up except for the glow plug relays, and I don't have the solenoid for the wastegate bolted back onto the intake crossover yet. I'm going to start it up and let it warm up for a test drive. So hopefully this goes good. Alright, here we go, let's go. And also the oil pressure gauge, that doesn't work. I don't have the hose that goes to that. That's a mechanical gauge, not electronic. Okay, well that'll do it for this video, and I thank you so much for your time and watching, and I hope that it was of help to you. You got what you needed. In closing, I just want to praise my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and I ask that He richly bless and guide you and your families. I love all of you guys, even the worst of my enemies, and if you need to know who Jesus Christ is, what He did to save you, and how you can be saved, then check out sharingthetruthinlove.com and click on the Salvation tab to learn all about the Creator of the universe and what all He's done for you. Hope you all have yourselves a great day. Take care.